Hello everybody, welcome back. This is Morgan Price and we are back in Stationeers. So today's tutorial is going to be all about water, how to get it, where to find it, and what it's used for. So let's get to the things to think about. So things to think about. Water is important. You're going to need to drink it, so it's important for life. Your plants need it, so it's important for food. And, moving on to the next part, water is the best coolant ever. Not 100% true, but it makes for a great tagline. Anyway, water will move 72 joules per mole as opposed to the other gases. But the thing is water does it at a slower rate than other things. So the best coolant speed-wise is pollutant. It will move 24.8 joules per mole very fast. Water will move 72.0 joules per mole at a slower rate. So plan accordingly. I will actually do a tutorial on heating and cooling at a later point in time, but right now we're covering water. Now, moving on. Once it's in a pipework, it's the same as a gas, essentially. They behave exactly the same way. All the pressures and capacities that apply to the gaseous tanks apply to the liquid tanks and liquid pipes. So whether it is a canister at 10 kPa or the pipes at 60 MPa, they behave exactly the same. So there's no real difference other than one is liquid and one is a gas. Moving on. Plants need it, but they don't need that much. So your plants are going to use water because, well, they need it to grow. That is essentially their food. Now, you are going to need a lot more water than your plants are going to need unless you have a garden the size of the planet, which there are people that build bases that are positively massive and they use a ton of water because they have 10 tons of plants. But for the most part, for your purposes, at least beginning, you're going to need more water for yourself than you are for your plants. Moving on. It is easy to get. Water is surprisingly easy to get, at least on most planets. Vulcan and Venus, which don't have ice, can't get it, unfortunately. You have to trade for it. So for planets like that, you're going to be filtering it out of gases. But take the moon, for instance, or Mars or Europa. You can dig in the ground and you'll find pockets of water ice, much like these here in my mining belt here. Let's put this over here for now. So yeah, it's relatively easy to get. Now, I don't know how to do this. I've seen people actually have fluid water in the open in their bases, but I don't know how to do it. So you can have floods, but again, I don't know how to do it. I've been experimenting trying to see how to get this to happen, and I've wound up blowing holes in the room. So rather than try and cause a flood this time, I'm just going to cover the fact that in theory it's possible. Now we're going to move on to the practical demonstration, and as you can see, I've basically rebuilt and repurposed the atmospherics room for water. Alright, this is going to do its thing. Alrighty, and welcome to the fluid section. Alright, starting this off, we're going to go with the water production side of things. Now, there's a couple ways to get your water, 3 main ways to be specific. First one that I'm going to cover is our ever so lovely ice crusher. Now, all that's going to do is just take your ice, crush it up, and pump it into the pipes you have it attached to. So something to remember here is that if you want to tell what's in a pipe, it doesn't matter if it's liquid or gas pipes, use your atmospheric analyzer. It'll tell you exactly what you've got and where it's going. Or yeah, it'll tell you exactly where what you have and where. So these pipes here is showing H2O 100%, 138 moles. Um, so yeah. Anyway, with that, let's put that away. Go there. There we go. Cool. You'll see this particular setup here dotting my base where it's the ice crusher and one of these guys. 50 ice will last for a very long time if you are just pulling it out with only these. So, yeah, you don't have to worry too greatly if you set up one of these in your base as just a water cooler to have hanging around. I've got them all over my normal bases. Moving on, furnaces. Both the advanced furnace and the standard furnace have a water output pipe. So get these guys nice and hot, throw in a chunk of ice, it'll melt it down and turn it into water. Of course, it'll be hot water, so you got to deal with that. But it takes it from unusable ice into usable liquid. Moving on, we've got this guy here. This guy here is the H2 combustor. So what you're going to do is you're going to pipe oxygen into one opening and hydrogen into another, and it is going to turn that into fluid water for you. So that covers your three main ways of actually getting water, and that's primarily getting water from ice. Now, there are materials that will off-gas, hydrogen and oxygen when you are smelting them in the furnace, and you can actually take that exhaust gas, which comes out comes out up here, or yeah, I don't know why it comes out on top, but it comes out on top here. So you can take your exhaust gases, which output on these top things, and filter them out and actually get the hydrogen and oxygen and run it into this guy. So there are more than one way to get water. The second one, where you're processing the off gases from your furnaces, will take longer just because you're not producing huge amounts all at once. So prepare for that when you are designing your base on Vulcan. Though with Vulcan, you really only have to worry about oxygen because you have hydrogen as the atmosphere. Oh my goodness, so much hydrogen. But moving on, the opposite of this guy is the electrolyzer. Now you will pump water into one end, and it will convert that into a hydrogen-oxygen mix as a gas and pump it out the other end. And that is amazing for fuel for the furnaces. In theory, using that as fuel for furnaces should also just get you plain old water back with some pollutants mixed in, but doesn't quite work that way within the game, but still. This will make an amazing fuel for your furnaces, for your welders. It is pure hydrogen and oxygen. There's no nitrogen in it, so yeah. Moving on, we've got a few different tanks. Now, we covered some of these with the last tutorial, and like this guy here will hold 6,000 liters of water. These pipes will burst at 60 MPa. These guys are easy to fill. You'll actually be using these mostly with the portable hydroponics kits like I have in that building over there. So, again, you're going to need like a liquid pipe regulator here. And let's grab our ever so lovely, pardon me, atmosphere analyzer to check and see what exactly is going into the pipe. So, or into our canister, I should say. So I have it set for 99.50, and it uh what? Okay. Whew. That scared me. Oh, and a bit of a correction. So 1 MPa is 1000 kPa. So these guys are rated up to 10 kPa, not 1 kPa. I misspoke in the last episode, so just correcting that now. And yeah, so they fill slowly, much like the other tanks. But that's how you would do that successfully. And with that, that pretty much wraps it up. Water's easy to get. Just find some ice if you're on a planet that has it. If not, you can strain it out of your furnace gases. Some places you could even just get it out of the atmosphere. And yeah, so with that, thank you so much for watching. If you like this, click that thumbs up button. Leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think. Please consider subscribing. And thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.